Hello and welcome back. Today I will show you all the paintings that I did in 2022. If you watched my previous video about 2021, then you might remember all the goals that I set out for myself. To make a long story short, I painted none of them, but I did paint a lot of other things. I discovered that if I work on a smaller scale, such as these paintings in my sketchbooks, I could actually manage to paint after work as well. And that allowed me to paint a lot more often than in previous years. This year is my Moleskine sketchbook. I've had it for ages and I'm finally making progress in it, and I'm working in gouache in this sketchbook for the most part. This is my Viviva Inktober sketchbook, and this is the one that I worked in the most last year. I painted this little compass thing. And then at the beginning of 2022, I did a bunch of landscapes, simple subjects in watercolors. I also took videos of a lot of these, so you might have seen these before in speed paintings on my channel. Then last year I ended up watching the new Star Wars TV series Obi-Wan, and I fell into a Star Wars shaped hole with my art and abandoned all other plans that I had before then. I also did some sketches in the sketchbook that I just need to color in at some point. I thought I might end up painting more people, so I put these seashells at the very back of my sketchbook. Now this year is the Hahnemühle 100% cotton sketchbook, and I just did one flower at the back, and now I'm getting ready to paint Oscar Isaac from the new Dune movie as soon as I can figure out how to draw the ornithopter wings. This one here is the Hahnemühle non-cotton sketchbook from my comparison video. And I did a bunch of paintings here because I found this paper difficult to use, but I didn't want to be unfair in my review, so I tried various media and various techniques on this. This here was actually my last piece of art in 2022. Now for some dry media, I have this sketchbook which I've had for over 15 years, I think. And I usually do anatomy studies here, or sometimes small portraits. And I've been trying to improve my skills here, using some reference photos from websites. The downside to the sketchbook is that it's not intended for art. You can see here from the price that I bought it a long time ago, and I finally treated myself to a proper sketchbook in late 2022, where I've been practicing my portrait drawing skills. I really loved the larger format, and the paper works so much better with pencils than what I had been using before. Drawing portraits is actually how I got started with art, so this has felt a bit like returning to the roots for me. Moving on to things that are not in my sketchbooks. I painted this little house here, and I also tried some anti-UV coating. I think it's an acrylic gel on top of this. Same for this waterscape. I also tried to paint Quistis from Final Fantasy VIII in the style of the artist who made the in-game portraits. And I painted this turtle for no particular reason. But back to Star Wars, I drew BB-8 on a separate sheet of paper and I used it to test 4 different kinds of paper. These were all testers from a local art supply store. None of these papers include cotton. I liked the Bergen paper alright, it was a bit rougher than what I usually prefer to work with. But I had problems layering my paint on it. The Britannia paper was even more tricky to work with. I didn't like the result that much. My favorites were the 2 Harmony papers. This one is the cold pressed, the more grainy textured surface, but it ended up disintegrating a little bit. The one that I liked most was the hot press, the very smooth surface. I ended up buying more of it, I just haven't used it yet. And I tested out the Buckingford paper, it's also non-cotton. It was alright. This is Hanemüller's bamboo paper. I also took a class on Domestika about how to paint architecture, and I tried to use these skills on a painting here. This is a vacation photo, but it didn't feel like my style, so I painted a different vacation photo, and I'm much happier with the result. I also took a class on sumi-e painting, but I think I didn't have the right kind of supplies. I didn't get the results that I wanted. I'm careful with setting goals for this year now, but that's the thing I really want to try this year. Next I will show you some paintings that are no longer in my home. The first one is a gouache painting that's now inside my office at work. And this one here is a watercolor painting also in my office. I've painted 2 versions of this painting. I gave one to a colleague for her birthday, and this is the second version now. And lastly, there's another Star Destroyer, which is living with my brother now. I did record this painting, but I figured I have to let more time pass before I can upload it, so people will forget that I already uploaded a speed painting of a Star Destroyer last year. So that was it. For me, that was a lot of art. I think my favorite is this girl here with the painted earrings. Which one do you like? And how was 2022 for you? Thanks for watching and see you soon. Bye.